Hi and welcome to I'm a Biker, and this is the all new Duke 390. Do you like it? Well, let's find out. Let's start I think with the most comments that we got on Instagram. I think that point is that how controversial or how massive it looks, polarizing opinion, that's what you call it, right? Either you like it or you hate it. You don't like it. There's no in between. So what is which side are you on?
I like it. I definitely like it. I like the looks and like the feel also. The previous two, in simple words, I felt I'm on the bike. Because I'm not feeling that inside wala feel, me and bike one, that kind of feel I was not getting. I was always feeling that I'm sitting on something, that kind of uncomfortableness was there. But this one, the seat height is little bit lesser. It's like 20 mm lesser. It's 800 mm. But the main thing is that I'm feeling that I'm sitting inside the bike actually. Like, you can hug the tank more with your knees and you're more into the bike. That inside wala feel.
No, the previous generation, I think they had taken up the seat height to 820 mm.
Yes.
And for shorter riders, it was not comfortable anymore. But the 2024 international version gets adjustable seat heights.
Yes.
In the sense that you can have it at 820 mm, also at 800 mm. It's basically they have spacers under the seat. So, but the Indian version gets only 800 mm of seat height. So I was a bit worried because I'm a taller rider.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, would that be a problem for me? But I felt most comfortable on this than any of the Dukes before. For me, always, I love the 390s. I love how the way it handles, I love the brakes, I love the power, everything. But whenever I sit on it, I know I'll get into a lot of trouble because I'm not comfortable on it. Because, like you said, I feel on it rather than in it. But with this reduced seat height and the way you sit, where you hug the tank,
exactly.
and everything, you are much more comfortable on the bike. During the feedback session with the Duke guys, with KTM guys, I was telling them this is finally the Duke that I would buy. So maybe not now. Rich people problems. But I really love it. That's how much I liked it. Now let's go into the performance side of things. So there is a bump up in power.
There's a bump up in
it's
power.
Almost 46 PS of power.
Yes.
I mean, of course, there's a slight bump up in CC as well. A lot of people asked us again on Instagram that is this more closer to the Generation 2 or more closer to the Generation 1? I would say it takes the positives of both. It's refined and feels smooth like the Generation 2, but it has got more raw power feel like the Generation 1. Not exactly like the Generation 1, but more like a mature version of the Generation 1. Probably this should have been the Generation 2.
Exactly. I think there is more amount of torque you are getting in the bottom ends because the bike is not stalling these days now. The problem with Duke I always had was the 391.
First generation.
First generation, it used to stall.
Basically, you're slowing down for a speed breaker or something. You're not, maybe you're in third gear, maybe you're second gear, and it just goes like, and it goes off.
And city traffic, it's very annoying.
Yeah, in city traffic, it's very annoying. But this generation doesn't have that sort of a stalling. Yes, there is some anti-stall ECU throttle setup, but
whatever it is, it's all
they figured it out, right? They figured it out. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's much more comfortable. Like I remember you were riding it around in second gear, like dead slow.
Slow. I was taking rounds to check will it stall, No, it was not stalling at all.
So that is really something new. And then people asked us about the top speed. The top speed might not be as much as the first generation Duke. Definitely faster than the second generation.
Yes.
But the 0 to 160, 165, it will reach there, and I believe it is the fastest of the three generations to reach the 0 to 160. See, after that, it's maybe 5, 10, 15 kilometers per hour of difference. So it does, for me personally, I did about 162. There are other guys who were touching 165, 170
also,
170 of the professional, the fast riders who were able to get out of the previous corner fast enough to reach the top speed. They were clocking close to 170, 172. So it can do, depending on rider weight, road length and things like that and conditions like that. But where it matters, that 0 to 160, it is actually faster than all previous generations. Let's talk about braking for a bit before we go to the other thing. So
yeah.
a lot of people again on Instagram, sorry for bringing it up again, but these are questions we received on Instagram, so I thought we'll just answer these quickly. Do they feel better? 320mm disc, the alloys are hollowed out, everything. Does it feel the benefits of the lighter weight and everything? Yes, it feels really good. It's sharp, it's precise. With the adjustable levers, you can set it up for your finger lengths and hand lengths, etc. So it feels very precise. In fact, it scrubs out speed pretty well. So it took me a lap or two to get used to, and then start pushing where my braking markers were, and I could brake a little bit later.
How's the bite and how's the feedback?
It's really good. Once you get used to it, you can brake that much later.
Okay.
You can put pressure on it.
Yeah.
You can, and the bike doesn't get out of shape. It feels very confidence inspiring. So earlier Dukes had this little bit of a light front end feel, especially when you're going onto the brakes. You had a little bit of that. Okay. But this one, I'm not saying it's not there, but this is more confident while doing it. So you don't feel out of control. Okay, and then refinement, like I said, is really good. Sound, maybe, single cylinder. It's not that KTM typical first gen sound. It's not the second gen sound also. It's
and they have removed the end can also. It's an underbelly exhaust.
Yeah, underbelly exhaust. So the thing is now, so this is the new platform. This is a totally new chassis, totally new subframe, everything. I'll tell you the KTM story in short. So first KTM's, they made the Dukes. Then they realized they need to make an adventure out of it. So they made a new subframe,
bolt-on
subframe for it. But then the problem was, since it was designed to be a street bike, the ground clearance took a hit. So when the Adventures came out, you really did not have enough ground clearance.
The seat height was also high.
And the second generation Dukes had really bad ground clearance, according to me. And once the Adventure platform came on it, it did not make sense anymore, because for an adventure bike, 150, 140 ground clearance is not good enough. Especially when a little bit luggage and it really sits on the ground.
And they are competing against the Himalayan with the 220mm of ground clearance.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. So, but this frame, this thing has been developed keeping in mind all the variations of this engine and chassis that is going to come out in the future. So we're talking about the RC, we're talking about the Adventure, and possibly maybe on the Husqvarna's different types, variants of it as well. Ground clearance 183mm, brilliant. On the Dukes, so imagine on the Adventure, they're going to have with the 19-inch tires, it's going to be longer suspension travel. It's going to be close to 200mm easy. So that's a lot of, I'm excited about all these things as well that's going to come up. With the higher ground clearance, CTR didn't take a hit. It's still very comfortable.
800mm, the suspension are on a little bit softer side, the rear one, because when I sat on it, I didn't feel it's like 800mm. I was able to land my feet properly. I was feeling confident and all, because the suspension is a little bit softer. But at the same time, we tried the Duke 250 also, where the suspension is not as soft as 390. The amount of feet I could reach on the ground was a little bit different on that.
I think probably you need to just play with the suspension to get the seat height and everything. Not seat height, basically the right setting for you. Or your weight, height, my different settings. Let's talk about the electronics and the switch gear and the console, the new console. So the new console looks really good. It's fast. Always for me, that is a big thing, because I don't want to switch it on and then
wait for 5 minutes.
But it's fast, and you can switch it on. It kicks in fast. All the things happen quickly, and you can start up and go. And while moving through the menu as well, you can just quickly.
Response is faster.
It's quite fast as well. Again, people asked us regarding the launch control and how it works. Unfortunately, I didn't get to test it. What I saw, I spoke to others, because we rode it primarily on the track, and it was just about 4 laps, and we were just riding, and we couldn't just stop mid-lap and just test the launch control. But how it works is that first you have to put it in track mode. And only in track mode the launch control works. Once you engage launch control, what it does is, it's not like it boosts the RPM to 6000 RPM or something like that. You can keep the revs high. You need to do pretty much everything manually. What it does is kicks in to avoid the wheelie and make sure and avoid basic traction control and wheelie control work simultaneously together to ensure that you're going in the most efficient way forward, rather than wasting energy and time on wheel spin and wheelie.
Like it's like you can rev it without any fear in your mind. You can rev it.
You
will pop the bike up. That will not be there.
Up and go that sort of a way. So it's not like you see in cars where it auto blips to 6,000 RPM and you just release the brake and jam the accelerator. No, it's not like that. It's you still have to do pretty much everything. Just the electronics ensure that you're not going like.
And
then there is something called a speed control. Basically, you can set how much top speed
Top
you
speed you
want
want.
on this bike.
Basically like a speed limiter.
Yeah,
It
it's
will not
speed
go-
limiter. It's like manual. You can keep it off, or you can, if you want. Okay, at no point do I want to go above 150. That's so fun. So it will just basically cut off at 150. Limit your top speed to 150. Basically, two other ride modes. One is street, and then there is rain. Apart from the track mode, the rain mode basically just softens the throttle response and the amount of power available. KTM did not specify how much power will be available in rain mode, but it just softens up the throttle response so that you never lose control over the situation. Headlights, we tested it out in the daytime. We really do not know
how the throw it is. You have
it
to-
was mad sunshine. So we do not know. So maybe once we get the bike out here
for a longer review. Yeah.
longer review, we
Test it in the night also.
yeah, we can test it out in the night as well. So coming to handling, it is extremely comfortable. Initially when I got onto the bike, I was thinking, we had I think 4 laps. I was thinking, is 4 laps enough for me to get used to the bike and start pushing it? But on lap 2, I was on it. I'm not a track person. I would have enjoyed it more on the street, but it is better to ride in a controlled situation than go do stupid stuff on the road. So, but by second lap, I was comfortable on the bike. I was immediately pushing. For me, that is a very good sign, because by second lap, if I'm able to, be comfortable on the bike, which means by 1 week of ownership, I'd be doing all sorts of funny stuff on it. That's the confidence spec. Coming to actual handling part of it, it's really flickable. Changing directions is very easy. It feels very light underneath you. You can do the flip flops, everything very easily. At no point does it feel too light or too heavy. Maybe since it's a naked, crouching down for taller riders is a bit of a pain, because how much of you crouch down, you still
have the blast.
You're still facing the blast. I think a small visor can solve
that issue.
Yeah,
and we have the adjustable suspension on that.
Adjustable suspensions, so we didn't get much time. So we're talking about 4 laps, right? And it's not like you can come back in between 2 and then.
No, it's continuous 4 laps.
We did some setting just before heading out, set it up for my weight preload and things like that. It was good. Wish I had more time to fine tune it for my riding style, so that it could, you could get the extreme best out of it. But yeah, the very fact that it is there finally on the Duke is really good. As in, finally you
can adjust the compression.
Rebound and compression up front, and then preload and compression as well, and much awaited actually on the Duke 390, because every time it was like international spec gets it, India doesn't get it. There's always that comparison.
The build quality, you actually made a sound video out of this and all.
Yes. So we're trying different content types, right? So we made all this. So the tank is metal. The fuel capacity is up to 15 liters, so it's no longer 12, 13. And then with always tension while going on longer rides. So you get probably an extra close to 100 kilometers of range now. That is really good.
Really good, These bikes you use for touring actually. Most of the time.
And actually now with the higher ground clearance, I think a lot of people really enjoy touring on this.
Sure.
Because it is a relaxed bike. It is not like like this.
That is one thing, and it can be your daily bike also, because of the bottom end thing that we have spoke about, and handling and the increased ground clearance, plus all this. You can do touring, you can do your daily stuff. Everything can be done with one bike.
That's a very good point on this one. Things like mileage and all, it's too early to tell. It's going to take some time to get it out in the real world, but I don't expect it to be hugely different from the previous version. So like close to 20 if you're having extreme fun, closer to 20, 30, if you're like normal commuter mode. So highlights probably would be that it has got better usable bottom end torque. One more thing that really I felt was much more integrated well into this version is that the quick shifter. Now it's bidirectional. So I had a word with the KTM team as well, and I was telling them that it feels much more seamless and both up and down. Their explanation was, on the previous generations, the quick shifter was always an add-on onto the bike, and in this version it was planned from day one.
Day one.
Something that is planned from day one to be included in the engine and gearbox is much more efficient than something that is a bolt-on later.
Added on later,
So in that way, yes, it does feel like that, up and down. So of course, lower down the revs, it doesn't really inspire confidence. But keep it above 5,000 RPM.
5,000 RPM.
It's very seamless. You don't get that heavy jolt, but it feels nice. Probably needed some more time to get used to it, because I'm not used to a quick shifter. But by around the 4th lap, I was using it more consciously, and I especially enjoyed it in the downshifts actually, because you can go like pam, 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 and then like, you know, it just
Coming into the corner, you can.
So it feels good. It feels good. There's one less thing to worry about, the clutch and everything. And the slipper clutch all kicking in. No, it feels really nice. You feel like you're riding a very big bike.
And now they have added cornering ABS also.
Yeah, cornering ABS, yes, but you don't know it unless you're in that sort of situation. Yes, obviously it will be more effective and helpful, and you know, in a safety point of view. Unless you're like making overcook a corner or something, you're not really grabbing onto it. And so it was too short a time to really test that out, but yeah, I'm happy it's there. I'm sure.
In simple words, it will be very confidence inspiring, and it will be very safe to take the bike into a corner.
Especially you know, when you're having some fun out on the roads as well, you're taking out to a guard section.
Yeah.
And you suddenly, you know, see a little bit of a sand patch or something, and you really want to slow down quickly because if you go wide, you know, you're probably going down, so hit a wall or something. So this really
helps you out.
Helps you stay in control.
And the mirrors have been changed. They have got the Dominar kind of mirrors now.
Yeah, so the international spec had a different mirror. On the bike, but yeah, the first photos we put out, people are like, hey, this is the Dominar mirror. I mean, I don't see that as a bad thing, because Dominar mirrors are good.
Good.
I mean, I like the build quality of it as well.
And it goes with the design also. It looks nice only.
With the design as well. I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I sort of like it better than the international version, how it looks. That's a little bit more, I don't want to say bulk.
Depends on person to person. Some people like it, some people don't like it. Yeah.
But it looks good.
For us, it looks good.
In fact, I think the international guys will be jealous that we got this. Because this looks better. So yeah, so guys, that is what the new, the 2024 Duke 390 is all about. It's a lot of fun to ride. I'm sure that you will enjoy it too. Do have a test ride. Let us know what you think about it as well. If you have any questions, let us know. One thing again people have asked is, some people at the showrooms are saying that the orange seat might not be available, it will be the black seat. There is no clarity on that yet. We'll see once the bike reaches showroom, but information that we have is that the Indian spec is going to get the orange color seat as well.
But personally, if you ask me, I won't like it, because after 1 month usage, it will be dirty like anything. So I'll need a black seat.
I don't know what he does with the seats. But yeah. Alright guys, that's what the Duke 390 is all about. If you have any questions, as always, do drop a comment, and while you're here, consider subscribing, and see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.